Hi there. In this video, we'll look at multiple choice problem 3 from the AP course description. In this problem, we need to find the slope of the tangent to the curve that's defined by this equation, and we want the slope specifically at this point, and one of these answer choices apparently is correct. Okay, before we dive into this problem, let me just hit on the two background points that are super important to know in order to do this problem. The first one involves the chain rule, and so let's just apply that. Derivative with respect to x of y to the fifth, derivative of outside at the inside, which is just y, times the derivative of the inside. That's what the chain rule says to do. And so this skill will come up, several times in our problem. All right, secondly, just knowing the product rule, for a product of two functions, we have the first times the derivative of the second plus the second times the derivative of the first. And this is just a handy way of remembering and executing the product rule. U dv plus v du. All right, so let's go ahead and execute this problem. Okay, so we're going to take the derivative of both sides with respect to x, and so we'll just do that term by term. So I'm thinking of this as u and this as v, and I'll write u dv plus v du. Notice I'm using the chain rule right there. Okay, now we'll take the derivative of this term, and now let me just clean this up for you. Now we have, this is our u and this is our v. So now we have u dv plus v du. Here we see the chain rule being used again for the second time. And lastly, the easy part, the derivative of 6 is 0. Okay, so the original equation, equation 1, gives us information about points on the curve, and equation 2 gives us information about the slope of points on the curve. And once again, we are interested specifically in the slope at 2, 1, so we'll let x be 2, and we'll let y be 1. Just a strategy point, since time is gold on the AP test, you could take the time to work out algebraically a formula for y prime, but it is a little more efficient, faster, just to go ahead and plug in the values right now and then get the specific slope that we were asked to find. So that's what I'm going to do. All right, so let me just get this where I can see it. In place of x, we're going to write 2, and in place of y, we're going to write 1. Here goes. All right, 1 cubed times 1 is 1. 2 times 3 is 6 times 1 squared times y prime. Let's see, 1 squared times 2 is 4. 1 squared times 2, 2 squared is 4 times 2 is 8 times 1. Okay, and so now we've got a formula for the slope at the point 2, 1. That's what equation 3 is doing. Okay, so now we'd just like to do a little bit of algebra and figure out what y prime is. So I've got 6 of these plus another 8 of these. It looks like 14 y prime. And then we've got 1 plus 4, which is 5. So we'll subtract that from both sides, giving negative 5. And so we'll just divide both sides by 14, and we get negative 5/14. Okay, and again, this is the slope, apparently, of the curve. Oops, write that correctly for you. Right, at 2, 1 is what I meant to say right there. Okay, so that's the slope at 2, 1, negative 5/14. So we'll choose that answer, and as far as the AP test, we are done. All right, but as long as we're in a position where we can use technology to verify our answer and try to really make meaning out of that, let's go ahead and use a graphical tool. So here's what's going on. We've got the point 2, 1, and we've got a slope of negative 5/14. Okay, so let me just put the graph up, and then I'll come back and make a comment on that. Okay, so I went ahead and typed into when plot the equation that we were given that was equal to 6. Okay, and I'm going to go ahead and graph that now. All right. Now again, this is not something that you'd be expected to produce a graph of or know what it looks like. That really is a tool for software. But this is what the graph is. The point 2, 1, which is our target point, is singled out here with a blue dot. And what I'm going to do now is just write an equation for the tangent line that passes through this point and has this slope. And this should be a skill in your repertoire. Okay, so we have the y value plus the slope times x minus the x value. Let me go ahead and type that in. 1 plus negative 5/14 x minus 2. 1 plus negative 5/14 times x minus 2. Okay, and notice right there, this is now confirming that the work we did is correct because this tangent line hits the target point and it appears to have the same slope as the curve. And so it is indeed a tangent line to the curve, and we have found the correct slope. Okay. Last comment, how does this fit in with the goals for the AP course? Well, under computation of derivatives, we have that students should know how to apply the chain rule and perform implicit differentiation. And I hope that this video has helped you learn how to do that. See you next time.